With his Caitlyn Poppy, I feel like he's kind of making a statement that he's interested in playing it. Into the Rakan, the Poppy would have been a great answer, but not an option anymore.
To see what T1 opt for in this situation, I feel like it's always tricky having to pick bot lane separately when it is that pairing. It's going to be them denying the Xayah in this situation.
I think they realized what's up, and this is the only option they have left.
I mean, Rakan on top of this composition as well is a huge threat.
I mean, what about just Nautilus Misfortune here, though, for HANWHA Life Esports? It works well with their comp. They have so much lockdown. It's been a pick that we've seen Guma and Delight really enjoy to play.
I'm not a huge fan of Misfortune here just because I think you're going to really struggle to ever channel the ult, and you are immobile even when you have that movement speed. But they end up picking the Rakan first in this situation. Obviously, a champion that Delight has a lot of success on. Will HLE deny the Xayah and break the pairing apart? Guma taking the Xayah, Keria on the Rakan, but on different teams.
What does it mean? I think we all know what it means, and they're going to play Renata Glask with it.
I love this pick. I was thinking maybe there was the angle for like a Kalista Renata, but Xayah Renata, you have the safety in the ultimate, you have the value of that hostile takeover into this composition of T1, because T1, their cards are all on the table. This is the dive composition through and through. There's no other way to really play it. Like, yes, you can play through punishing sides, but when it comes to the 5v5, you're diving that backline. That's how it's going to operate. I wonder if the 80 carry pick is going to try and...
I think they got to go range. They're looking for the Sivir here, which is going to give a ton of wave clear. The Lissandra has a decent amount of that as well. And it is a spell shield into all of this engage, but it's not great in Divide. You could just smite the spell shield away on our way in.
And perhaps that's what we'll see here as we hop onto the Rift for T1 versus HLE game number 2. All right, game number 2. Game number 1, definitely a bit of a flip fest towards the last 5 or 6 minutes. But this time around, we'll have to wait and see. I feel like, when I saw the players come off the stage, nobody looked shook at all. Based on that game, I think a lot of players and a lot of teams already in this bracket have had trouble from behind or after a wonky losing game. You think about Bro against CK, where they almost won game 1 and then they lost it, and then the game was just or the series was just a wipe afterwards. It just feels like T1 versus HLE. These players are just so composed. They lose a game, they're already in analytical mode. They're like, all right, what went wrong? What can we do better? How are we going to win the series from here on both sides? And I would imagine that their mental is probably still very fortified at the moment.
I have to agree. I do think that, we're going to see a bit of a tempo heal. Rated. I do think that with this draft here for T1, you have both the ability to be the ones who make the first move, make the aggressive play with the Nocturne Lissandra, Khan, with the Odessa. I mean, there's so many ways to chain CC together. But you also have the scaling element and time buying element that the Sivir provides you. So it feels in some ways a bit of a catch-all. It's just that its theme isn't directly one way or the other. So we'll see how they decide to play it through the mid-game. If they fall behind, how they're going to just sit back and farm up, because we saw a near comeback from them in game 1 with a good punish. This draft, I think, absolutely can do that again with the tools they have, even if they do fall behind.
I think if I'm T1 in this situation, I think the definite avenue in is that you can really target Kanavi and Delight. I mean, they both, I feel like, were pretty consistent in the last game. But Vi in particular always has that pseudo safety of being able to dash out, but if you see Sears, she can't. And I feel like we so often see Renata with Kalista, but you don't have that safety net this game. That ability just to get pulled out from an engage. You're the one who has to be warding, so T1 definitely has that threat to be able to set up onto those targets. They're in trouble here.
Zeus going in, going to force the flash, and there was a lot of trading early on. Generally, this is going to favor the Rek'Sai because you just have insane amounts of sustain. And now that ward, very critical here. Doran going to know that Kanavi is in the top side of the map. And here comes Oner up to the top side, maybe trying to get something going here.
Kanavi doesn't know he was seen, so if he wants to try to make a longer-term play here, it could backfire because Oner is in the area, even though he's in the early game. Nocturne here. It looks like this is just going to be both junglers retreating. Looks like, although what we know is
Yeah, still sticking around. That's the ward to come down. Doran, he needed to know, and now he knows 100% as First Blood does go over, and Zeus picks that one up on his top rec side.
I feel like this is just textbook Kanavi. We saw it last game as well. This patient waiting. He'll spend as much time as he feels he needs to get that play, and especially when you know that Doran already doesn't have flash, it's so easy to set up when he approaches that brush.
And there's your enemy jungler is Nocturne. He can't get over walls. He had vision in the river, so there's no way Oner can close the gap fast enough there with where he was and where Doran was to actually impact the play. There was no way there could be a Nocturne nearby. So he waits, he calculates, I know exactly how much damage we need here to burst him down before he can look for the outplay. He already lost his flash moments before thanks to Zeus' 1v1 prowess there in the matchup. And as a result, HLE once again getting a lead early.
There's a little bit of cost to it, though. We can see already Kanavi is down 2 camps. So Oner, who is happy just farming towards his level 6, will be a little bit ahead in terms of pace of that. Although Kanavi did get XP from that kill, so he's keeping up in terms of levels for the time being.
Yeah, still a nice little start there for Kanavi. We've seen that Faker's gone back a couple of times. Zeka trying to hold the wave right in front of his turret and has been getting the better of these early trades. Now where the Lissandra really shines against the Ahri is eventually, you know, Ahri's trying to dash around a bunch and you press R on her. Or you are yourself, as that's going to be the root. Faker not yet level 6, and waiting for the flash charm is huge from Zeka, sets it up, and Kanavi locks it down.
What a moment there from Zeka. Just completely takes Faker out with the flash charm there, and Kanavi is able to scoop up the kill, but hardly necessary. Well, they still get the assist gold over to Zeka. Now T1 trying to make a cross map here, but Oner still doesn't have 6. If you can steal some of these Krugs, maybe. Nope.
I mean, he's going to go in and try to start a trade against a level 6 Vi. That's what he's going to do, is now Zeus flashes in, and Oner's like, well, I guess I'm dead.
He flipped it on the minis. Kanavi gets 6 first as a result, and he just dies.
I think because Kanavi spent so long in the bush, maybe got XP from that, and I think Oner might have miscalculated when the level 6 was coming through. This is replay of that play mid, so level 6 is hit, and Faker's mind, he's like, I just have to flash the charm. He catches up to me with the charm flash, catches him off guard, can't react in time, and Zeka gets a phenomenal kill. Yeah, I assume Oner must have miscalculated and thought Kanavi wasn't close enough to his level 6, because he steps up here full of confidence, and immediately the play goes wrong.
I think even if Kanavi stays level 5, he probably still dies.
The Nocturne ultimate isn't going to offer you anything in this situation, not really. Not without help. So that was just a weird judgment there from Oner.
Either way, definitely a bit over-aggressive, if we're being nice, as now here comes T1 into the jungle trying to take the blue away.
I think at least if Kanavi doesn't have ult, he can flash over the wall.
Yeah.
That's fair. But, like, you know, what are we really gaining?
Yeah. So that's going to be the entire top side of the map here for HLE ahead. I mean, the Rek'Sai's ahead. We know what Rek'Sai can do from ahead as well. Like, it's not a pick that's going to burst you down, but he's just going to stick around in however long the fight is going to be and sustain forever.
I feel like when we had Rek'Sai in the meta before, obviously things have changed since then, but it felt like so much of her position in top lane was there was some lanes she'd actually get bullied out a bit, but just be able to sustain. But then in the later team fights, was so hard to deal with the constant knockups and sustain and tankiness. So if you're winning early, it feels really good, and Keria tries to find an angle there, isn't able to. Nice spell shield from Paze, gets them to safety.
It's already a lot of desperation out of T1 in this game. Even though it's still early days, and they have this Sivir to fall back on, you know, I think in this moment, probably just take the dragon and walk out. They made it pretty risky there, almost had to burn a sum. They will get away just fine, but high risk play. Reward of the dragon, though, is still picked up. That play from Oner on the top side, we've already discussed heavily that it was very aggressive, very brash. Does end up backfiring. But I still think T1 are very much in this game, but 1 or 2 more mistakes like that, and that can change very quickly with, like you mentioned, the Rek'Sai, and also the fact that from behind, the damage isn't there to burst anybody they engage on, you know, until the Sivir is a larger threat. Or if Doran is ahead, which he's not, you know, he could be some of that follow-up damage, but they just don't have it right now. So T1 to be very cautious about continuing to try to Hail Mary their way back into this early game. As we have a TP.
And a TP here on a Guma, but he has Ghost, so he just presses Ghost and walks away.
I will
It's not going to work.
We've hit that point of the top lane matchup where Doran hit level 6 and killed his ultimate, so he gets a ton of free healing and armor pen, so now the matchup feels way better. It's one of the benefits of being those champions. You get a ton of free stats just for leveling up their ultimate ability.
Yeah. He also got Executioner's Calling, of course, which helps a lot in this matchup.
I mean, that definitely does. But yeah, I think Ambessa, especially because they buffed the healing recently, it's pretty insane the spike you just get from level 6.
We're going to make a play here, but immediately the ult comes out. The charm is there, and now Oner has to flash away. Nearly in kill range. You could see Zeka was calculating the numbers in that moment, but not going to be enough, especially with Faker there with his ult. But yeah, that's the first paranoia from Oner, and so far the Nocturne falling very flat in this early game.
And they are grasping at a lot of straws, and they're not coming back with any straws in this one.
I think this is kind of highlighting there's not great lanes to pop those ultimates on. You know, they went for the TP bot lane onto Gumayusi. He just ghosted away. He still had flash, still had ult. Go for the play mid. It's onto an Ahri. As long as Zeka is responsive in time, you just need to be so snappy on the ultimate to catch him out, and he's just able to disengage. Definitely feeling already, this early in the game, as you said, T1 feeling a bit desperate with trying to make these plays happen. I mean, they have the engage tools, they should be using them, but the execution just hasn't quite been there as of yet.
Keria here, so he has level 6, but it's really tough to try to get onto a Xayah who has flash and ult. The light can disengage, can peel, and I think you're going to have to wait for your opportunity here. You can definitely find dive targets, you can definitely find punishes with this comp for T1, but players who have Ghost or players who are just under turret with mobility, probably not going to be the options that you're looking for.
Trying to make a play once again, I guess? No, just a little zoom in from Jonas Strong. At the end of the day, Oner doesn't have flash, doesn't have paranoia, so not really going to amount to much, especially with the light there as well.
Also with Infernal into Hextech, two of our big budget souls out of the way. With those two dragons, sorry, coming in phase 2. Doesn't mean our soul, good chance it might not be the most impactful in this game.
Could be similar to the last game as Kanavi is here, but there's not a great angle for him to utilize. This wave is going to get cleared. A little bit early for this prio for the dragon, as it's not spawning for 70 more seconds. Oner's going to surf around to this bottom lane and see if he can find a counter gank here, but so much of his jungle is being taken away. And there's no teleport for Faker. There's no prio. So it's very easy for Kanavi to continue to do this. He's very close now to farm with Oner.
They want to make the Vayari work once again, or at least try to get some kind of summoner out of Faker. It's very difficult. Again, we were talking about the Lissandra into the Ahri. You know, he kind of got outplayed earlier on with the crazy play from Zeka, but still going to be good. As they're looking for the pick here on a Kanavi, the charm comes down, but that is not the easiest target. They're going all in to try to take out Kanavi. It's taking quite a while. Through the exhaust, Kanavi with the bailout, but finally they do get the kill. But it is going to be Peace who pays his life for that one. Zeka in a bit of trouble here himself. Gets ulted down. Doran with the follow-up, and they do knock down and take out Zeka.
This won't be without a cost, though, as Zeus is unanswered here in the top lane with Doran's teleport, and it looks like first brick will likely go over here as a result with the Grubs, the Voidlings here, over to HLE. They can buy enough space for Zeus to get the majority of this turret. Looks like he's not quite going to get it off of this wave, but still a lot of value on the other side. But this play aggressively from Keria does end up working out. To get that kill, they get the follow-up there with Doran joining with all that linked-up CC. Keria. Okay, it's going to be fine. We do have the dragon spawn now.
Yeah, a lot of ults on cooldowns, and this is a game where the ult budget is insane. There's so many powerful ultimates you want to have for fights, so T1 just seemed not to be interested with quickness, paranoia, with the Glacial Tomb down. I think that makes a lot of sense. And it's just going to be 1-for-1 in terms of those dragons, and it's going to be an Ocean Soul, which, you know, last game we kind of talked about the sustain. There is champions like the Ambessa and the Rek'Sai who in the longer fights will get a benefit, but with how explosive these comps are, this just feels like a non-factor.
Hayes, he's going to get hand shook as finally the charm comes out, and, you know, just running into so many bits of CC, you only have one spell shield.
I mean, I get the idea of I'll outplay this Ahri because all I got to do is spell shield the charm and I've got more DPS, but you know, there wasn't anybody else nearby. So very bizarre. This is back to the earlier play where Keria is able to set up the Nocturnal. They get the Charm here. Pays able to do a lot of the damage. He does end up getting caught himself here forward, but because they can commit this into a further play on the Zekas, you'll see the TP come through from Doran. They know Zeka's so deep here that they have the CC with Faker. You can get over the wall here with the flash, press R, and the Ambessa R will follow. So that was pretty successful, but here, you've got a Nocturne nearby, but that's all you got. It feels, again, like another really forced play here for T1.
I'm not even sure what the play is for. From Pei specifically, just kind of walking up and auto-attacking Zeka, but not too much value.
Yeah, he doesn't get punished at all if it's only Zeka, and I saw that the other two members of HLE were in mid lane where there wasn't any vision. You know, generally you see like at least a ward in the middle of the lane, so maybe he's like, oh, I can do a little bit of damage, punish Zeka here, but if anyone else is there, he just dies.
We call them high-risk, low-reward plays.
Yeah.
So,
not worth.
Not worth.
Hashtag.
He still has the only gold lead here for T1, as Zeus maybe collapsed on.
Now we got the Paranoia coming in, and a bunch of damage already into the Rek'Sai, and you're not really going to be able to sustain out of this, although you can go through many tunnels, as now we got a TP coming in, and he gets away by the... Wow.
Hair of his chinny chin chin Valdez.
Exactly.
Skin of his teeth.
I was stuck in between the two of them, and I opted for neither.
Well, I'm glad we were able to cover both ends of that one, but this is horrible for T1. They committed so much. Faker's a little bit late, and now Doran's going to get some constellation plate value on the bottom side, but the Herald will go over to HANWHA Life, who have triple grubs again in this second game.
And T1 just keep making these attempts, these proactive plays, and it's just... The targets on the other side are so hard to pin down. I mean, they committed early to this composition of having this level of dive and playing into a Rek'Sai here. It feels like a done deal with how low Zeus gets, but then taking the second tunnel and immediately going for the TP, and the damage just isn't quite there from Oner on the other side.
와, 진짜 얇았네. 네, 탭했다. 나 패드.
He is not happy with that, as we are going very deep in mid lane. What is going on here? And that's going to be the turret going down, as a massive hostile takeover gets tons of value for Delight. But yeah, this time it's kind of forced from the side of HLE. It looks like they're going to get away with it, as they do take down the mid turret and only trade junglers.
Yeah, it's 1-for-1, but they get the turret, and I think that the reason why they think they can make this play is because they've got the Herald, right? They've got Guma here. So there isn't a great target to punish when you do commit this heavily. If you get the turret, you feel fairly safe. Kanavi, I don't think needed to force this, but it does guarantee them the turret. Yeah, I think they still get the pick and exchange.
Kanavi was buffering the Lissandra ult, so he had to ult a target and didn't really have a choice, so he had to go deeper. I think HLE did a good job of translating the play, but it kind of shows that thing with the Vi where if you get CC chained, your usual safety of just dashing out doesn't work anymore. And Kanavi goes, oh, I guess I just have to ult in the tower and nothing can be done about this situation.
Oh, well.
Classic Kanavi. That's where he wants to be. That's his home.
Any excuse.
And he's going to enjoy that one. He's still enjoying a lead over Oner after the way that the early game did pan out. And, you know, this isn't a back-breaking lead. This is still playable for the side of T1, as now they're trying to dive onto Zeus once again. He doesn't have TP this time, but he is going to ult into 3 people and immediately just get feared down and taken out. So Faker will enjoy some extra gold.
That was pretty close, but I like how they dragged him outside of the tower and made sure that when the ult came out, he was clear of it, because I thought that could have been a situation where Zeus escaped, but a good punish there. And T1, we've seen so many attempts this game. A lot of misses, but they are getting some hits now.
Now there's going to be a turret in exchange, but it's a turret for turret plus the kill onto Zeus. We're out of first brick territory, so the fact that HL get it first doesn't necessarily matter. I like that they're giving Pays the money, though. Pays needs the money. He needs to be the scaling late game win condition here. Xayah scales really well, too, and it's Guma Xayah. So we're all very horrified of that, but this wave clear that the Sivir can provide is going to be so helpful for objective setups later on. Speaking of, we have HANWHA Life Esports starting this Dragon first. Faker no ult, but it is coming up fairly soon. But I think HANWHA should have this one on lock. Pays coming over, though. I think they have enough damage to rush this down and get out.
Yeah, no paranoia, and I mean, Oner's miles away, but even if he was there, I think it's so much for T1 about those big budget ultimates. He might get caught out here.
Just backing on a ward. as that's going to be the spell shield taken out and another Spirit Rush, and he's just kind of being walked along here. Oner saying, well, there's no real reason for me to try to flash. Might as well just turn onto Zeka and die. And that's exactly what he does.
It's been a bit of a weird game from Oner. I feel like a lot of mistakes in this one, considering the level that his Nocturne is usually at, the consistency we've seen from this pick. This game has not been living up to that standard.
Keria will also need to leave this vicinity with Kanavi having ult there. And no teammates were nearby. HANWHA Esports didn't have full information, but yeah, this game has been quite bizarre with some of the overextensions. Maybe a trap could be set here, but I don't think T1 have enough members.
They're going to throw an ult into Kanavi. I mean, on the Vi, with the escape, there's really no follow-up. But now Doran does come in. The hostile takeover right in the choke, though. And now HLE on the charge here as the TP does come in from Zeus, and T1 back away.
A lot in from HLE there, so good from T1 to bait that out and disengage again and not get caught up in the hostile takeover. It's very easy with this composition just to go all in and not have a backup plan.
Baron's up in 30, but I don't think it's anything that we'll be fighting for a while here in this game state. It's only a 1.5 thousand gold lead here for HLE. They have been the ones who have been able to catch T1. They have the kill lead in this game. But it's still a very close one. And even though T1 were able to get a lot of resources out of HLE there, I don't think there's an easy punish objective right now for them to utilize at the moment. Keria is going to get some vision set up here. They have a lot of vision on the top side of the map. That's where a lot of the vision war has been as of late. For T1, still just waiting for Pays to get his third item online here. We're getting closer and closer to it. He has 1,000 gold, the advantage over Gumayusi. He's just going to park in mid, clear these waves, and get all the money he can find on the Rift.
That's really all that's going on in this game with the 280 carries just sitting mid.
I don't think Faker does any damage to Zeus, like actually.
Yeah, mostly just negative damage. I think the only people that can really deal damage to him are Doran and Pays. I think even Oner at this point doesn't really do a whole lot. At least was able to pick up his second item. But they need a lot of time with Zeus regardless, with multiple members, if they're going to be able to take him down again. He's definitely been kind of the butt of many a gank, but hasn't always been successful, as now maybe it's Doran's turn. Our poor top laners.
I'd like to see for the rest of this game, I don't mean in every situation, but T1 using their dive tools defensively to peel for Pays so that they can just cut through those health bars, keep him alive. Not trying to necessarily look for backline play, because the turn and the counter engage from HLE is so incredibly strong. Not to mention they have their own defensive Renata ultimate. I think T1 need to change their tune a little bit here and just play through front to back with this composition, especially with the lead that HLE have right now in this game. Gold lead is small, but the control over the map is pretty immaculate here. I mean, look at the vision on the bottom side of the map where Doran is trying to push up into this turret.
Also, credit to HLE there. One of the things I was talking about is how Kanavi and Delight could be the primary targets to pick off, but they're moving as a trio and just slowly moving that vision forward, making sure to check these brushes, only moving up when they have enough members, where they feel strong, they're ready for a fight. Because T1, we're setting a trap there in that banana brush, and we're looking for, anyone really to approach, but don't find a target and have to back away. And you were talking about the vision on the bot side, vision on the top side also in favor of HLE now, because they were able to push them out there. HLE's control spreading across the whole of the Rift right now.
If you try to make a aggressive dive happen and try to catch HLE members when you don't have the full information, what will likely happen, or what has continued to happen in this game, is they will have more members than you thought. They will turn, and they will turn it around on you and then take an objective. We're looking for potentially soul point here for HLE in 30 seconds time if they're going to fight for this dragon. You see Doran back in, Keria TPing back in as Faker looks for an angle.
Trying to get Guma here. He's just immediately going to get Mikhail's. So as long as Delight stands next to the Xayah, you don't even get his flash, his Feather Storm, his Ghost, nothing. Just one Mikhail's.
And I think that ult,
the pick potential of T1.
Grabbing that Mikhail's feels like it's something, but maybe using that ult onto a Vi who's trying to dive your backline, your Pays, might have been better off here on this dragon. Instead, they just get a Mikhail's out of it. Faker's now ultless for this really important team fight. Unless they could slow it down here somehow. This looks like it's HLEs.
Yeah, still not available for a while. It's not the Imperial Mandate, Lissandra. Cooldown's quite long. And I think the ult's not going to be there before the Dragon's taken.
Just trying to TP into this one as the Rek'Sai, as now they're looking for the turn, as once again gonna shut down Faker with the flash and the charm. Used in tandem, as now looking for a bit more. Zeka trying to get those, max range charm is gonna come in, but that is onto a Rek'Sai. They take down the Lissandra, they get the Dragon, but look at where they're going. They're heading up towards the Baron.
They only used 2 ultimates to get that kill. And so there's still ways to lock Pays down if T1 want to challenge, but I think it's pretty risky to try to start Baron here now as HLE.
Yeah.
They'll just be happy with the gold they got and the Dragon that comes in tow.
I think into a Sivir, into the Ambessa, and the fact that Lissandra has TP and ult now available is too risky. But here, Faker tries to Rocket Belt out of the way of the charm, doesn't flash, and doesn't have ult to self ult, although I think if you self ult there, you're just dead anyway. But a great pick from Zeka, who's been on fire on this Ahri, despite it being typically a counter matchup.
Yeah. Faker's put himself in harm's way a little bit as his vision toggle always nervous.
Saw them for a moment in the jungle before they toggled the vision. And we have Ahri and Vi making their way down here. As even a spare rush into the brush, they want to make sure that Doran cannot TP out of this one as he tries to go for the public execution, but the CC chain is there, and 400 gold goes into the pockets of Kanavi.
And there's no cross map. There's no cross map target for T1 to even hit. Look at where Zeus is. He's just hanging out in the mid trio. There's no outer turret, so it's not like T1 could push a turret here. He's just going to be able to go up and catch the wave. This is a zero-sum game for T1 right now. They lose something on the other side of the map from where their focus is, and they gain nothing. They can't start Baron. And again, we're just kind of watching Pays try to hard farm his way to that IE. Goldie has shrunk.
Yeah,
straws.
pretty good. The thing is, if you only use Paranoia with no other follow-up, if you only use the Glacial Tomb with no other follow-up, you're not going to kill anyone.
But I feel like this is them trading resources. So they use Glacial Tomb to get the kills, they use Paranoia to get the Slay Call. The problem is, it's still, I think HLE are fine with this. They still have other tools. They still have Flash and Gumayusi. They now have the Mikhails back again. And your Paranoia is down. You can see the thought process of what they're going for, but in practice, HLE are still the ones with control, and you're not burning cooldowns with long enough off a cooldown to really make an impact.
Yeah, also the timing, I'm not really sure how they're going to force a fight at this moment, because neither team really has Baron pressure.
The IE is done for Gumayusi, but it is still a ways away here for Pays, it looks like, and that's the real break point for the Sivir. Obviously, the Xayah utilizes the IE incredibly well too, but there's a lot of tools to keep Pays alive, and he does a lot of damage with Ricochet, etc. Sivir in this a little bit less safe, but safe in a different way because of the spell shield than this Xayah. Shadow Flame picked up here for Zeka, also a big spike, and we are getting to the point, I think, with the control over the map that HLE have, plus the IE, plus the Shadow Flame, the Rek'Sai, who's got side lane control. You can start a Baron soon. I think it will be soon where they look to start and turn, and T1 are going to have to be ready. There's the Infinity Edge for Pays now, the critical juncture
for Faker. So the spikes on both sides, and both of them kind of posturing. HLE trying to get aggressive control of the jungle here.
And this time, I mean, you're going to have follow-up. Aguma just fancy feet. He is going to dodge everything, and now coming in from the bottom side is Zeka. But now Guma frontlining is immediately charmed, flashes away. The bailout is there, but he does not get the reset. 2 kills goes the way of Pays, and 1 overextension. Immediately Pays will put you in the grave. Delight goes down. That is the quadra kill.
They're looking to end,
and they're looking to push mid.
And it's still 30 seconds on these death timers. I don't think they can end the game off of this one, but they certainly should be able to get a turret and Baron at least. And the Baron will lead to so much more here. Massive gold swing goes to T1. And Guma initially, with the sidestep, you're like, okay, he doesn't need Mikhails, doesn't need Flash, he doesn't need ult, because he's just going to dodge this. And then he just walks straight in. Like to a Rakan. He just wanted to visit Keria, his old bot laner, but the follow-up CC is there. It's too sticky. I like Kanavi's attempt to try to get the reset for the bailout, but it was just a complete collapse here for HLE. Into this Sivir, that is just going to ricochet you to death.
Yeah, Pays was perfect in this fight, just constantly getting the damage down, the ricochets between Gumayusi and Delight, who was trying to peel for him, and then just stepped up at the right time, free hitting for the whole fight.
Uh-oh.
TP coming in. This is...
The TP mistakes we have seen in the last couple of weeks at LCK. It is a Rek'Sai, though, and they're going to be looking for the Ocean Soul. So T1 have to actually pull off of that and move over towards that Ocean Drake. There's maybe a little bit of a setup here on the objective. T1 waiting in the brush. There it is. The charm going to catch two, and immediately down goes Guma. And the follow-up is there as they take out Kanavi as well. HLE just not respecting the engaged potential of this Rakan multiple times in a row. As Delight should be okay, but that's going to be the Drake. And T1 are exploding in this gold lead.
2 fights in a row. It's Keria who finds Guma, Rakan who finds Zaya, and T1 who are finding success in this game. A 6,000 goal lead now in a game which for so much of it they were behind.
Whoa.
Now looking for more.
Yeah, nice timing there from Faker. I'm not sure if they should really be going in for this kind of play, but Pays is so powerful. They're trying to take him out with the Rek'Sai ult. It's not quite going to work, as the bailout not going to help out either, and T1 are just compounding their gold. Mistake after mistake, engage after engage. They keep baiting HLE into these fights.
They're desyncing the death timers here. Now Guma's back, but there's no Zeus, and they can easily retreat here with the inhibitor down. And Keria, with the Pays ultimate that comes up in this fight, are able to both set up this engage here for Keria, but then follow up so easily. And Guma does not have the tools to escape. Again is burst down. And it's these snap calls from Keria that have brought them back. It's moments like these, which is why we said earlier, Keria does often feel like the main character for this roster, sitting at 100% kill participation here in this second game. And even though this looks like it might be going a little bit too deep, Pays has GA. He has so much damage, and there's no follow-up, there's no damage. The Rek'Sai is a big health bar, but eventually it'll be taken out. Guma respawns, but there's no tank, and down goes the inhibitor.
It just reminds me of original Rakan, when there was no delay between ulting and using your other abilities, how little you could respond to it. And Keria just camping in the brush that they had control warded, so he gets to essentially play original Rakan when he shows up after channeling the ult beforehand. Such an effective tool, able to catch out an AD carry who has that ultimate that grants so much safety. And now a 9,000 gold lead. GA on Pays, he's such a hard target to deal with.
Yeah, now they can just use the paranoia, not for diving the Xayah, not for trading ultimate cooldowns, just for zoning, as they will be able to pick up this top inhibitor, no doubt. Zeka, you know, he's trying to look for something. I think the window is kind of past here for HLE, especially down this much gold, obviously, but the Sivir's online, and you don't have any pressure to try to catch her. There's just way too many peel tools. Pays is playing Sivir in the first place. You're never going to be in a spot where you can actually kill him and then go on to win the team fight. You'll just go way too deep.
We can talk about team gold we won, but look at the 80 carry gold difference. Yeah. That is just insane.
And it happened in what felt like an instant, right? The gold lead was biggest for Pays in the early game, but it shrunk down to like 380, something like that. I think at its smallest, and then he picks up a Quadra, is unlocked on the map. They get all these structures. He gets funneled even more gold. Now he buys an arm guard. He's like, look, if I die, my team has no damage, but I'm not going to die. I've got GA, I've got an arm guard, I don't care. It's like old stopwatch days, except way more expensive.
Don't remind me,
I think
Wolf.
also, this is really signaling they think this next fight is just going to be game over. And at this point,
it will be.
I think it will too.
And it's just small pushes. Kanavi thinks he can get his jungle.
He should be okay. So he reads the pressure. But yeah, it's just so crazy. I talked about it in game one, where it's like HLE, you make one mistake, T1 threaten a game victory. Same thing here, but it doesn't look like T1 are going to, you know, let go of the comeback they've gotten this one, and it's more than a comeback now. I mean, they're just super far ahead. And HLE playing RE5 from this position, not really enviable.
I mean, if they get this third inhibitor, which it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get, but if they were able to get the third inhibitor, they could just say, well, we'll do Baron, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can TP to end with double super minions going down the waves, and then if you get Baron with 3 inhibitors, you just win the game. If they want to try to threaten some sort of Ocean Soul, you just trade the objectives because they're synced up in spawn timer here, albeit about 7 seconds the difference between these two. But because they have the Sivir wave clear as well to constantly gain prio plus double inhibitor, T1 can kind of take whatever they want on this map right now. And I don't think that HLE could be the ones who are proactive to make a play. It's got to be like a great Delight ult used defensively, or Guma gets some crazy feathers pullback, or Zeka's able to find an angle after Spell Shield is down for Pace. Some sort of miracle here is what HLE need. And this isn't it.
Oh no, Kanavi, not like this. Well, looks like it'll be exactly like that, actually.
Keria?
Down it goes. They're going very deep. The angle here from Keria as he just is able to bully his former AD carry in the bush. The follow-up with the public execution onto Delight. As now they're trying to take out Alessandra. Not a great spot here. Already a triple for Pays, as there is still the potential for a penta, but I don't think he's even thinking about that at that point. As you can see that HLE are not going to give it to him either. T1 just looking to push down mid and end this game in their favor. As they are going to flash out a Keria. They do get the kill, but T1 do not care at all about that. Just trying to stop the backs here and end this game.
Yeah, Pays will just push down the Nexus at this point. T1, game 1 was close with their comeback. Game 2, their comeback is enough. And the series will be equalized at 1-1.
Keria keeps his 15 out of 15, 100% kill participation.